Marcus Washington's fist hit the cockpit glass for the fourth time. Blood exploded across his knuckles, dark skin splitting open, white bone showing through. The lake water around him was turning pink. His 47-year-old body screamed for air, lungs burning like someone had lit them on fire from the inside. One more hit. The glass finally shattered. He shoved his destroyed hand through the jagged opening, grabbed the woman's designer collar, and pulled. Her body was dead weight, face blue, not breathing. What Marcus didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that saving Catherine Sterling's life would put a bullet in his 9-year-old son's future. Because the men Marcus thought he'd buried 10 years ago. They were watching, and they wanted blood for the betrayal that had cost them everything. Drop a comment with your city below. I want to see how far this story travels. Now let's go back to where it all started. The morning started like every Saturday for the past 3 years, quiet, just how Marcus Washington needed it. "Dad, you're doing it wrong." Marcus looked down at his son. Isaiah was 9 years old, all elbows and attitude, holding a fishing rod like it might bite him. The boy had his mother's eyes, that same deep brown, that could see right through any lie Marcus tried to tell. "What am I doing wrong?" Marcus asked. "The worm. You're supposed to hook it through the middle, not the end. Mom showed me before she—" Isaiah stopped. His small face changed, and Marcus felt that familiar knife twist in his chest. "Your mama was the best fisherman I ever knew," Marcus said quietly. He took the rod, adjusted the worm, handed it back. "Like this. See?" Isaiah nodded. Didn't speak. Just cast his line into Reelfoot Lake, watching the red and white bobber settle on the water's surface. 3 years since cancer took Layla. 3 years of Marcus, trying to be two parents with one set of hands, one heart that felt like it had been ripped in half and sewn back together wrong. Some mornings he woke up and forgot she was gone. Reached across the bed for warmth that wasn't there anymore. "You think Mom's watching us?" Isaiah asked. "Every single day, son." "Think she's proud?" Marcus looked at his boy. Really looked at him. Isaiah Washington was growing up without a mother in a town where they were one of maybe 5 black families with a father who was trying so damn hard not to let his past destroy their future. "She's so proud of you. She's probably bragging to every angel up there," Marcus said. "Telling them about how smart you are, how you got an A on that spelling test, how you can tie a fishing knot better than most grown men." Isaiah smiled, small but real. "What about you? Is she proud of you?" The question hit harder than it should have. Was Layla proud? Would she be proud of how Marcus had walked away from everything? The money, the danger, the man he used to become a carpenter in Tennessee who minded his own business and raised their son in peace. Or would she be ashamed that he was still running, still hiding? "I hope so," Marcus said honestly. "I'm trying, Isaiah. Every day I'm trying." "I know, Dad." Isaiah's hand found his small fingers wrapping around Marcus's calloused palm. "You're doing good." The sound came before Marcus could respond. A mechanical scream that didn't belong in the Tennessee morning. Marcus's head snapped up. 20 years of Marine Force recon training kicked in before his brain caught up. His eyes found the source instantly: private jet, maybe half a mile up one engine, smoking black, the other shooting flames like a dragon dying mid-flight. "Dad." Isaiah's voice was small, scared. Marcus's mind was already calculating. Descent angle, wind speed, impact point. He'd done this 1,000 times in combat zones, reading trajectories, predicting where the body would fall, where the explosion would reach. 300 yards out, maybe less. The jet hit the lake like God's fist coming down. Water erupted 50 feet in the air, hung there for a moment, that felt frozen in time, then collapsed back down in a roar that echoed off the surrounding hills. "Dad? What?" "Isaiah." Marcus grabbed his son's shoulders, looked him dead in the eyes. "Stay in this boat. You hear me? Stay in this boat, call 911, and do not move until I come back." "But, do you trust me?" Isaiah nodded, tears already forming. "Then trust me now. Stay here." Marcus stripped off his jacket, kicked off his boots. His phone went into the tackle box, waterproof emergency contacts programmed in. He'd prepared for moments like this his whole life. Different scenarios, same principle, someone was dying, and he had the skills to stop it. The water hit him like a fist made of ice. Late October in Tennessee wasn't warm, but Reelfoot Lake this time of year was cold enough to stop a man's heart in minutes. Marcus didn't stop. His arms cut through the water in powerful strokes, muscle memory from force recon water training taking over. 30 yards, 50, 100. The jet was sinking fast, nose already submerged, tail section pointing at the sky like a tombstone. Through the shattered windows, Marcus could see movement. Someone was still alive in there. He dove under, eyes open, despite the murky water. The cockpit was filling fast, water pouring through cracks, broken seals, the shattered windscreen. And there she was. A woman. 40s maybe. Dark hair floating around her face like seaweed. Blood streaming from a gash on her forehead, mixing with the lake water in pink clouds. Her eyes were closed. She wasn't moving. Marcus surfaced, sucked air, dove again. The door was jammed. He tried the handle, nothing. The whole frame had buckled on impact, metal twisted like paper. He tried to pry it with his fingers, but it wouldn't budge. He surfaced again. His lungs were burning, his body temperature dropping. He had maybe 2 more dives before hypothermia started making decisions for him. This time, he didn't go for the door. Marcus pulled his arm back and drove his fist into the cockpit glass. Pain exploded from his knuckles to his shoulder. White-hot, blinding. The glass cracked, but held. He hit it again. Harder. Felt something in his hand break, bone or tendon, didn't matter. The crack spread like a spiderweb. Third hit. His skin split open. Blood poured from his knuckles, dark against the water, but the glass was giving. Fourth hit. His vision was tunneling, lungs screaming for air. He put everything he had left into it, every year of training, every ounce of desperation, every promise he'd made to Layla on her deathbed, that he'd be a good man for their son. The glass shattered. Marcus shoved his mangled hand through the opening, felt for the seatbelt release. Found it. Clicked it. The woman's body lifted with the water pressure, suddenly weightless. He grabbed her collar, expensive fabric, silk or something, and kicked toward the surface. His vision was going black at the edges. His arms felt like concrete, but he kept kicking. One stroke, another, another. Then gravel under his knees, and Isaiah screaming his name and air that tasted like heaven. Marcus dragged the woman onto the rocky shore, rolled her on her back. Her lips were blue. She wasn't breathing. "Dad, is she?" "Stay back, son. Call 911, now." Marcus positioned his hands on her sternum, locked his elbows, started compressions. 30 of them, hard and fast. He counted out loud, force of habit from combat medicine training. 28, 29, 30. He tilted her head back, checked her airway. Clear. Pinched her nose, covered her mouth with his, gave 2 rescue breaths. Nothing. 30 more compressions. "Come on," Marcus muttered. "Come on, lady. Don't you dare die on me." 2 more breaths. Her body convulsed. Water exploded from her mouth, lake water, jet fuel, bile. She coughed, gasped, her whole body arching as her lungs remembered how to work. Her eyes opened, green sharp even through the shock and pain. They found Marcus's face, focused on him. "You..." She coughed again. "You saved my life." Her voice was educated, crisp. East Coast accent, expensive private school type. Marcus glanced down at her clothes, what was left of them. Hermes scarf. Cartier watch still ticking on her wrist, business suit that probably cost more than Marcus's truck. This was serious money, the kind that asked questions. "You're alive," Marcus said. "That's what matters. What's your name? Doesn't matter. It matters to me." Sirens were wailing in the distance. Then another sound that made Marcus's blood run cold, news van engines getting closer. He could see them on the access road, satellite dishes reaching for the sky. Dad! Isaiah was standing behind him, phone in hand, eyes wide with a mix of wonder and terror that broke Marcus's heart. Marcus looked at the woman one more time. She was staring at him like she was trying to memorize his face. Behind them, the first news crew was already setting up cameras, swinging toward the wreckage. "We gotta go," Marcus said to Isaiah. "But the ambulance? They'll take care of her. We need to leave, right now." Marcus grabbed his son's hand, pulled him toward their small fishing boat. Behind them, the woman tried to sit up, tried to call out, but paramedics were already rushing down the bank, surrounding her. One cameraman got a clear shot of Marcus' silhouette against the morning sun, blood still dripping from his destroyed right hand, Isaiah beside him. The camera caught everything. The boat. The Tennessee license plate. Enough. Marcus fired up the outboard motor and opened the throttle. The boat pulled away from shore, and he didn't look back. Couldn't look back. "Dad, your hand." Isaiah was staring at the blood at the mangled knuckles where bone was showing through split skin. "It's okay, son. It's not okay. You're bleeding everywhere." "I've had worse." Marcus steered with his left hand, letting his right rest on his lap. The pain was starting to break through the adrenaline, now sharp and insistent. "We'll get it fixed when we get home." "Why did we leave? The lady wanted to thank you." "Sometimes doing the right thing means not sticking around for the thank you," Marcus said. "You'll understand when you're older." But Isaiah was 9, not stupid. "You're scared, I can tell." Marcus looked at his son. Those eyes, Layla's eyes, saw too much. "Yeah," Marcus admitted. "I'm scared." "Of what?" "Of what happens when people start asking questions I can't answer." They made it back to the dock 20 minutes later. Marcus's hand was swelling now, throbbing with each heartbeat. He wrapped it in an old towel from the boat, tied it tight with his teeth and his good hand. "We're going to drive to Doc Peterson's house," Marcus said. "He's going to fix my hand, and you're not going to tell anyone at school what happened today." "Okay." "Why not?" "Because I'm asking you to trust me, Isaiah. Can you do that?" Isaiah nodded slowly. "Okay, Dad." Doc Peterson was a retired Army medic who lived 2 miles from them, didn't ask questions, and owed Marcus a favor from when Marcus had rebuilt his deck for free. He took one look at Marcus's hand and whistled low. "You get in a fight with a wood chipper." "Something like that. Can you fix it?" "I can keep you from losing the hand, but you need a real hospital, Marcus. This is bad." "No hospitals. No records." Doc Peterson looked at Isaiah, who was sitting in the corner looking scared, then back at Marcus. "You in trouble?" "Not yet, but I might be soon." "This about your past?" "Maybe. Probably." "Yeah." Doc Peterson sighed. Got out his medical kit. "This is going to hurt. Isaiah, you might want to wait outside." "I want to stay with my dad," Isaiah said. Marcus nodded. "Let him stay. He should see what it looks like when you pay the price for doing the right thing." The next hour was pain-sharp, blinding, the kind that made Marcus bite down on a leather strap, while Doc Peterson set bones and stitched skin. Isaiah watched the whole thing, didn't cry, didn't look away. "You're tough," Doc Peterson said to the boy. "Like your old man." "My dad's the toughest person I know," Isaiah said with the absolute certainty of childhood. Marcus's heart broke a little. If only the boy knew the truth, that his father was terrified, that the toughness was just scar tissue over 1,000 wounds that never fully healed. By the time they got home, it was past noon. Marcus's hand was bandaged, immobilized, throbbing. He turned on the TV while Isaiah made sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly, the boy's specialty. CNN was already running the story. Dramatic rescue on Reelfoot Lake today in Tennessee, where an unidentified black man pulled billionaire tech CEO Catherine Sterling from her sinking private jet. Sterling, founder and CEO of Sterling Technologies, worth an estimated $38 billion, says she owes her life to a mystery hero who disappeared before emergency responders could get his name. The screen cut to helicopter footage of the crash site. Then to the hospital where Catherine Sterling was sitting up in bed, white bandage across her forehead, looking directly into the camera. "I saw him," she said. A black man, maybe late 40s strong. He moved like someone with military training. He destroyed his own hand breaking through the cockpit glass to get to me. He saved my life without hesitation, without knowing who I was, without asking for anything in return. She leaned forward, and Marcus saw something in her eyes that terrified him: determination. If you're watching this, please come forward. I need to thank you. I need to know your name. Because someone like that deserves to be recognized, deserves to be rewarded. Rewarded was code for investigated, for questions about who he was, where he came from, what he was running from. Marcus turned off the TV. Dad. Isaiah handed him a sandwich. That's you. You're on TV. Yeah? You're a hero. No, son. I'm just a man who did what anyone should do. But you saved her life. She said so. Marcus looked at his boy, at that innocent face that still believed the world was simple, that heroes and villains were easy to spot. How do you tell a 9-year-old that his father used to kill people for money, that the hero on TV was a ghost who'd been running for 10 years? Heroes are complicated, Isaiah. Sometimes the things that make you a hero also make you a target. I don't understand. You will. But right now, I need you to promise me something. If anyone asks teachers, other kids, strangers, you don't know anything about what happened today. We were fishing. We came home, that's it. Okay. Isaiah's face scrunched up. But lying is wrong. It's not lying, it's protecting our family. There's a difference. I still don't understand. That's okay. You don't have to understand. You just have to trust me. Isaiah was quiet for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, Dad. I trust you. They ate their sandwiches in silence. Marcus's mind was already working through scenarios, escape plans, contingencies. If someone identified him, and someone would, he had maybe 48 hours before his past came looking. He'd prepared for this. He had go bags in the basement, cash hidden in 3 different locations, a contact in witness protection who owed him a favor. They could be gone by midnight. New names, new lives. But Isaiah had school, had friends, had a soccer team, and a life that was finally stable after losing his mother. How do you rip a child away from everything they know because you're too much of a coward to face what's coming? The knock came at 5 p.m. Marcus was in his workshop trying to distract himself with work when he heard the car. Big engine, expensive. He moved to the window, saw the black Mercedes SUV rolling up his gravel drive. His hand went instinctively to the Glock hidden under his workbench. Then he stopped himself. Whoever this was, they'd come in daylight alone, not how you approached someone you wanted dead. Catherine Sterling stepped out. No bodyguards, no entourage. Just her wearing jeans and a simple white blouse, head bandaged, walking like someone who'd just survived a plane crash but wasn't going to let that slow her down. Marcus opened the workshop door before she could knock. Mr. Washington, she said. The sound of his real name coming from her mouth made his blood stop moving. You shouldn't be here, Marcus said. I've been told that a lot in my life. I rarely listen. She looked past him into the workshop, saw the half-built furniture, the tools, the simple life he'd tried to construct. Can we talk? About what? About how 3 private investigators managed to find you in less than 48 hours. About your service record, Marine Force Recon decorated exemplary. About how that record ends 10 years ago and you disappear completely. About Sentinel Solutions and the questions no one will answer. Marcus's jaw tightened. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Marcus Ghost Washington. They called you Ghost because you could slip in and out of anywhere without being seen. Sniper Forward Observer later, a contractor with Sentinel Solutions operating in places that don't exist on any official map. She stepped closer. Marcus didn't move. And then you vanished, Catherine continued. Right after a mission in Yemen went sideways. Sentinel said you died. But here you are alive building furniture in Tennessee under your real name because you thought you'd buried that past deep enough. If you know all this, why are you here? Marcus asked. Why aren't the police? Because I don't give a damn about your past. I care about what you did yesterday. She pulled out a business card, held it up. You destroyed your hand to save my life. A stranger. Someone you'd never met and would never see again. You did that without hesitation. Anyone would have. No, they wouldn't. Do you know how many people were on that shore? 15. 15 people with phones calling 911 filming. You were the only one who went in the water. She held out the card. This is my private number. When the men from Sentinel come looking, and they will come, Marcus, you call me. I have resources they can't imagine. Lawyers, security, political connections. You saved my life. Let me help save yours. Marcus didn't take the card. I saw your son, Catherine said quietly. Isaiah, 9 years old, lost his mother 3 years ago to cancer. Good kid, smart, loves soccer and fishing and his father more than anything in the world. Don't, Marcus said, voice hard. I'm not threatening him. I'm telling you that if I can find this information in 2 days, so can Sentinel. And when they come, you're going to need help. Pride won't protect Isaiah, but I can. She placed the card on his workbench. Fair trade. You gave me my life back. Let me help you keep yours. Catherine Sterling turned and walked back to her SUV. She paused at the door, looked back. They're coming, Marcus. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they're coming. And when they do, you're going to wish you'd taken my number. The SUV rolled away, leaving Marcus standing in his workshop, staring at a business card that felt like a grenade with the pin pulled. That night, after Isaiah was asleep, Marcus sat on his porch with a beer he didn't drink and a Glock he hoped he wouldn't need. The Tennessee hills were dark, quiet, peaceful. It wouldn't last. Somewhere out there, someone was watching the news. Someone who remembered Marcus Washington wasn't supposed to exist. Someone who'd spent 10 years believing the ghost was dead. And now the ghost was on CNN, his face plastered across every channel, saving billionaires and breaking his cover like it was nothing. Marcus looked at the business card. Catherine Sterling's private number. He tucked it into his wallet behind the photo of Layla. Just in case. Because if the past 10 years had taught him anything, it was this: the past never stayed buried. It always came back. Always. And when it did, you either had friends or you had graves. Marcus finished his beer, checked the locks twice, and went to bed with his gun on the nightstand and his son sleeping peacefully down the hall. 2 days later, his phone rang at 2:47 a.m. Unknown number. Marcus answered without speaking. "Hello, Ghost," said a voice he'd hoped never to hear again. "We need to talk about Yemen, and about what happens to people who betray Sentinel Solutions. You remember Colonel Reeves? He remembers you, and he's very interested in having a conversation about those files you stole." The line went dead. Marcus sat in the dark, hands shaking, knowing that everything he'd built was about to burn down. The war wasn't over. It had just been waiting. And now it was coming for his son. Marcus didn't move for 10 seconds after the call ended. Just sat there in the dark, phone still pressed to his ear, listening to dead air like it might tell him something useful. Colonel James Reeves. The name alone was enough to make his chest tight. He stood up, moved to Isaiah's room. The boy was sprawled across his bed, one arm hanging off the side, mouth open slightly, breathing steady. Safe. For now. Marcus backed out, closed the door. Softly went to his basement. The go bags were where he'd left them. 2 backpacks behind a false wall panel packed with cash documents. Burner phones. He'd updated them every 6 months for 10 years, hoping he'd never need them. Hope was a luxury he couldn't afford anymore. He pulled out one of the burner phones, dialed a number he'd memorized, but never called. 3 rings. "Yeah." A woman's voice, sharp awake despite the hour. "It's Marcus Washington. You said I could call if I needed witness protection." Silence. Then? "That was 7 years ago. I'm not with the Marshal Service anymore. I know. That's why I'm calling you. What happened? Someone from my past made contact. Sentinel Solutions. They know where I am. More silence. Marcus could hear her thinking, weighing options. How much time do you have? She asked. I don't know. Could be hours. Could be days. You have a son. Isaiah, 9 years old. Okay. Listen carefully. You've got two options. One, I make some calls, get you into official protection. New names, new location, the whole program. But that takes time. Paperwork approvals, maybe a week if I push hard. And option two, you disappear on your own, tonight. I give you a contact, someone who specializes in making people vanish off-grid. It's not legal, it's not official, but it's fast. Marcus looked at the ceiling toward Isaiah's room. If I run, they'll know I'm scared. They'll chase harder. If you stay, your son becomes leverage. I'm not running. Marcus. I spent 10 years running. I'm done, but I need to know Isaiah's protected while I handle this. You can't fight Sentinel alone. I'm not alone. Marcus pulled out Catherine Sterling's card, looked at the number. I saved someone's life 2 days ago. Someone with resources. Someone who owes me. Who? Catherine Sterling. The woman on the phone laughed, sharp and surprised. The billionaire. You're the one who pulled her out of that jet, that was you. Yeah. Okay, that changes things. Sterling's got serious juice, political connections, private security legal teams that could bury Sentinel in lawsuits. But Marcus, these people don't play clean. They'll go after your son. Then help me make sure they can't find him. Another pause. I've got a place. Montana. Old friend from the service, retired, runs a ranch that's completely off-grid. No digital footprint. Your boy could stay there while you deal with Reeves. Can I trust this person? With your life. With your son's life. She's solid, Marcus. Former Marine herself knows what it's like. Marcus made the decision in 2 seconds. Set it up. I'll have Isaiah there by tomorrow night. Call me in 6 hours. I'll have details. She hung up. Marcus sat in his basement, surrounded by the evidence of 10 years spent preparing for this moment, and felt something shift inside him. Not fear, not anymore. Something colder, harder. The part of him he'd buried when Layla got pregnant, the part that had made him ghost. He went upstairs, made coffee. By the time the sun came up, he had a plan. At 6 a.m., he woke Isaiah. Dad? The boy rubbed his eyes. Why are you dressed already? We need to talk, son. Get dressed and come downstairs. Isaiah must have heard something in his voice because he didn't argue. 5 minutes later, they were sitting at the kitchen table, and Marcus was trying to figure out how to explain the unexplainable. You remember when we talked about the work I used to do before you were born? Isaiah nodded. You were a soldier. I was. And after I left the Marines, I did other work. Harder work. Dangerous work. I'm not proud of all of it, but I did it. Did you hurt people? The question was so direct, so innocent that Marcus almost couldn't answer. Yes, I did. Bad people. I thought so at the time, but son, the world's not that simple. Sometimes the people I worked for weren't as good as I thought they were, and when I figured that out, I walked away. But walking away made me enemies. Isaiah's eyes were getting wider. Are they coming here? Maybe. I don't know. But I need to make sure you're safe while I figure this out. So you're going to go stay with a friend of mine for a little while. What about school? We'll figure that out. Right now, keeping you safe is more important than spelling tests. I don't want to leave you. Marcus reached across the table, took his son's small hand in his bandaged one. I know. But this is how you help me, Isaiah. By being somewhere they can't use you to get to me. Can you be brave for me? Isaiah's chin trembled, but he nodded. How long? I don't know. But I promise you I will come get you as soon as it's safe. Promise? On your mama's grave, son. I promise. At 8 a.m., Marcus called Catherine Sterling. She answered on the first ring. I was hoping you'd call. I need help. Tell me what you need. Marcus told her everything. About Reeves, about Sentinel, about the mission in Yemen, where he'd been ordered to kill a civilian doctor and refused. About the files he'd stolen, evidence of war crimes, illegal operations, things that could bring down the entire organization. When he finished, Catherine was quiet for a moment. Where are the files now? Encrypted, stored in 3 locations. If anything happens to me, they get released automatically. Smart. So Reeves wants them back before they go public? Yeah. And he threatened your son? Not directly. Not yet. But that's how they operate. Okay. First thing, your son needs protection. I can arrange that. I've got a security team, former Secret Service, best in the business. Already handled. He's going to Montana tonight, off-grid location. Good. Second thing, you need leverage. Something that keeps Reeves from just putting a bullet in you and taking his chances with the files. I'm listening. We make this public. Not the files, not yet. But your story. Put Sentinel in the spotlight. Make it so if anything happens to you, the whole world's watching. They can't operate in daylight, Marcus. That's their weakness. That puts a target on my back. The target's already there. This way at least you control the narrative. Marcus thought about it. Going public meant no more hiding, no more peace. But peace was an illusion anyway. Had been since the moment he dove into that lake. What do you need from me? He asked. Meet me. Today. I've got someone I want you to talk to. FBI specializes in private military contractors. She's been trying to build a case against Sentinel for years. Your testimony could give her what she needs. And if Reeves finds out I'm talking to the FBI, then we make sure he finds out on our terms. We set a trap, Marcus. You, me, the FBI, and Sentinel Solutions. We end this before it ends you. Marcus looked out his kitchen window at the Tennessee morning, at Isaiah's bike lying on its side in the yard, at the normal life he'd tried so hard to build. Where do you want to meet? Memphis. I've got a suite at the Peabody. Come alone. We'll figure out the details. I can't leave Isaiah alone here. So bring him. My security team can watch him while we talk. Marcus made a decision. I'll be there by 2 p.m. He hung up, found Isaiah in the living room watching cartoons like the world wasn't falling apart around them. Pack a bag, son. We're going on a trip. The drive to Memphis took 4 hours. Isaiah spent most of it staring out the window, not talking. Marcus kept checking the rearview mirror, watching for tails, seeing ghosts in every sedan that followed them too long. They hit Memphis traffic at noon. Marcus navigated through downtown, pulled into the Peabody's parking garage. Catherine had texted him a suite number. 2 men in dark suits were waiting by the elevators. Former military. Marcus could tell from how they stood, how their eyes tracked everyone in the garage. Mr. Washington, one of them asked. Yeah. Ms. Sterling's expecting you. We'll take you up. My son. Will be perfectly safe with us. There's a game room on the executive floor. Xbox, snacks, the works. We'll be right outside the door. Isaiah looked up at Marcus. Is it okay, Dad? Yeah, son. It's okay. Marcus knelt down. These men work for the lady I saved. They're good guys. You stay with them, play some games, and I'll come get you in a couple hours. What are you going to do? Grown-up stuff, boring meetings. Isaiah hugged him tight. Be careful. Always am. The suite was on the top floor, views of the Mississippi River stretching out like a promise of escape that Marcus knew was a lie. Catherine was waiting with another woman, mid-40s, short dark hair, the kind of eyes that missed nothing. Marcus Washington, this is Special Agent Kendra Hall, FBI. They shook hands. Kendra's grip was firm, professional. I've been trying to find you for 6 years. I didn't want to be found. Clearly. But circumstances change. She gestured to a folder on the table. I've been building a case against Sentinel Solutions since 2019. War crimes, illegal operations, human trafficking. I've got pieces, but I need someone on the inside to connect them. I'm not on the inside. I left. But you took files when you left. Evidence. And you've got first-hand knowledge of their operations in Yemen, Syria, Libya. That makes you the key witness I need to bring them down. Marcus sat down. His hand was throbbing under the bandages. If I testify, Reeves will kill me. Not if we get to him first. Kendra opened the folder, pulled out surveillance photos. We've been watching Sentinel for 2 years. We know where their safe houses are, who their contacts are, how they move money. What we don't have is enough evidence for warrants. The files I took would give you that. Yes. But if I hand them over, I lose my leverage. Reeves has no reason to keep me alive. Unless we offer you protection. Witness protection, new identity, full immunity in exchange for testimony. Marcus looked at Catherine. You set this up. I told you I pay my debts. This is how we end it, Marcus. You give the FBI what they need, they protect you, and Isaiah and Sentinel goes down. Clean, legal, permanent. Nothing about this is clean. Kendra leaned forward. You're right, but it's the best option you've got. Reeves made contact last night, which means he's planning something. You think he's just going to ask nicely for the files? He's going to grab your son, Marcus. That's what they do. And once they have Isaiah, you'll give them anything they want. The words hit like a fist. Marcus knew she was right. This was how Sentinel operated. Find the weakness, exploit it, break the target. What's your plan? He asked. Kendra pulled out a map. Reeves will want to meet. Somewhere isolated, somewhere he controls. When he calls you, agree. Tell him you'll hand over the files in exchange for safety, him leaving you alone, full amnesty. We wire you, set up surveillance, bring in a tactical team. When he shows up, we take him down. He's not stupid. He'll have backup. So will we. FBI hostage rescue team, best in the world. We've done this before, Marcus. Not with Sentinel. These guys are trained the same as your HRT. Former Delta, former SEALs, former everything. They won't go down easy. Neither will we. Marcus looked at Catherine. Why are you really doing this? You don't owe me this much. She met his eyes. You want the truth. 2 weeks ago, someone sabotaged my jet. Corporate espionage, a competitor trying to kill me. I've spent 20 years building sterling tech, and I've made enemies. Powerful ones. When you pulled me out of that water, you didn't just save my life. You reminded me what it looks like when someone does the right thing without calculating the cost. She stood up, walked to the window. I've got all the money in the world, Marcus. But I can't buy what you have the courage to walk away from everything when you saw it was wrong. To sacrifice your career, your life, everything to keep your integrity intact. That's rare, and I'm not going to let Sentinel destroy you for it. Marcus felt something in his chest crack open. I'm not a good man. I've done things. We've all done things. The question is what we do next. And right now, the next thing is stopping Reeves before he hurts your son. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Marcus answered. Yeah. Ghost. Reeves's voice was smooth, friendly, exactly what Marcus remembered. We need to talk in person. Just you and me, no games. You bring the files, I give you guarantees. Your boy grows up safe, you live your life, we all move on. Where? Old Harrison Warehouse, north of Memphis. You know it. Marcus did. Abandoned factory district, isolated, easy to control. When? Tonight. Midnight. Come alone, Marcus. If I see FBI, if I see cops, if I see anyone but you, your son disappears. And this time, he doesn't come back. The line went dead. Marcus looked at Kendra and Catherine. Midnight. Harrison Warehouse. Kendra was already on her phone calling it in. Catherine moved closer to Marcus. We've got 10 hours to set this up, she said. Can you hold it together that long? I've been holding it together for 10 years. But this is different. This is endgame. Once we move on, Reeves, there's no going back. Your life changes permanently. Marcus thought about Isaiah, about Layla, about the decade he'd spent trying to be someone other than Ghost Washington. My life already changed. The moment I saw that jet going down, I knew this was coming. Maybe I wanted it to come. Maybe I'm tired of running. Or maybe you're just ready to stop being afraid, Catherine said quietly. Maybe. Kendra came back. HRT is mobilizing. We'll have teams in position by 11 p.m. Snipers on the rooftops, entry teams at 4-point surveillance drone overhead. Marcus, you walk in alone, hand over a fake drive. When Reeves figures out it's fake, we move in. Fast, overwhelming, no chances. He'll have operators there. Former military, same training as your guys. I know, but we've got surprise. We've got superior numbers, and we've got right on our side. Marcus almost laughed. Right doesn't stop bullets. No, but body armor does. Kendra pulled out a tactical vest. You're wearing this, and you're taking a panic button. First sign of trouble, you hit it, we come running. The next 8 hours were preparation. Kendra briefed him on how to wear the wire where the panic button went. What to say to keep Reeves talking long enough for teams to get in position. Catherine arranged for Isaiah to stay at her Memphis penthouse with her security team. Marcus hugged his son before he left. I'll see you in the morning, Marcus said. Promise. Promise. Isaiah held on longer than usual. Dad, are you scared? Marcus thought about lying, thought about being brave, decided on truth. Yeah, son, I'm scared. It's okay to be scared. Mom used to say that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do it anyway. Marcus's throat tightened. Your mama was a smart woman. The smartest. She'd be proud of you. I hope so. At 11 p.m., Marcus was in an FBI surveillance van 2 blocks from Harrison Warehouse. Through the monitors, he could see HRT teams moving into position, shadows against darker shadows. Kendra handed him the fake flash drive. This has enough real data to pass a surface check, but if he tries to open any of the files, he'll know. How long do I need to keep him talking? 5 minutes from the moment you hand it over. Can you do that? I can do that. Catherine was there too, against FBI protocol, but she'd insisted. Be careful, she said. Isaiah needs his father. I know. At 11:55 p.m., Marcus walked toward the warehouse alone. His heart was pounding, but his hands were steady. 20 years of training, 10 years of running, all coming down to the next hour. The warehouse doors were open. Inside, darkness and the smell of rust. Marcus? Colonel James Reeves stepped from the shadows, and Marcus saw him clearly for the first time in a decade. Older, grayer, but those eyes were the same, cold, calculating, completely sure of themselves. Colonel? You look good. Fatherhood agrees with you. Reeves walked closer, hands visible alone as far as Marcus could see. I'm glad you came. Shows you're smart. I came for my son. That's all. Of course. The files. Marcus pulled out the flash drive. Everything you asked for. Mission logs, bank accounts, evidence. All of it. And you kept copies. I'm not stupid. No, you never were. That's why I trained you personally. Best operator I ever had. Reeves held out his hand. Until you developed a conscience. I always had a conscience. I just didn't listen to it until Yemen. That doctor was a liability. He was innocent. No one's innocent, Marcus. You should know that by now. Reeves took the drive, pulled out a laptop. Let me verify this. In Marcus's ear, Kendra's voice. Keep him talking. 3 minutes. Why now? Marcus asked. It's been 10 years. Why come after me now? Reeves was typing, checking files. Because you put your face on television. Because you reminded me you were still alive. Because loose ends bother me. I saved a woman's life. You exposed yourself, sloppy. The Ghost I knew would never have been that careless. Maybe I'm not Ghost anymore. Maybe I'm just Marcus Washington Carpenter, father man trying to live right. Reeves looked up from the laptop, and Marcus saw his expression change. These files are encrypted. Yeah. The password, Marcus. Now. No. Reeves pulled a gun, aimed it at Marcus's chest. You think I won't kill you right here? I think you can't. You shoot me, those files upload automatically. Every news outlet, every congressional committee, every international court. Sentinel becomes headline news and you become public enemy number 1. 2 minutes, Kendra whispered. Reeves's jaw tightened. You're bluffing. Try me. They stood like that, 10 feet apart, gun between them, decade of history weighing the air. Then Reeves smiled. You always were clever, but you forgot one thing, Marcus. I don't need the files if I have your son. Marcus's blood went cold. He's safe. Somewhere you'll never find him. Are you sure? Reeves pulled out a phone, turned it so Marcus could see the screen. Video footage. Live. Isaiah in Catherine's penthouse playing video games, Catherine's security team standing guard. 1 minute, Kendra said urgently. I've got 3 men in that building right now, Reeves said. X-Delta, best of the best. They can be in that penthouse in under 30 seconds. So here's what's going to happen. You give me the real files, the real password, or your son dies tonight, and you watch. Marcus felt everything inside him go cold and sharp. This was it. The moment. The choice. 30 seconds, Marcus, Kendra said. Hold on. You won't hurt him, Marcus said, but his voice shook. Won't I? You betrayed Sentinel. You stole from me. You think I have any limits left? You're a soldier. You don't kill children. I'm not a soldier anymore. I'm a businessman. And in business, you eliminate threats. Reeves's finger moved to the trigger. Marcus hit the panic button. The warehouse exploded with light and sound, and voices screaming, FBI, drop your weapon! Reeves spun, firing twice. Marcus dove behind a concrete pillar as bullets punched through the darkness. Flashbangs went off, turning the world white and loud. HRT teams poured through 4 entrances, tactical gear, suppressed rifles moving like water. Reeves's operators emerged from hiding, 3-round bursts, lighting up the warehouse like lightning. Marcus crawled toward cover, unarmed, useless. This was their fight now. The firefight lasted 18 seconds. When it was over, Reeves was on the ground, shoulder, bleeding, hands cuffed. His 3 operators were down, 1, dead, 2, wounded. Kendra ran to Marcus. You okay? Isaiah, the penthouse. Already secured. FBI was there before Reeves made his call. His men never got close. Marcus's legs gave out. He sat down hard, adrenaline draining out of him like water from a broken dam. It's over, Kendra said. You're safe. Your son's safe. And Colonel James Reeves is going to spend the rest of his life in federal prison. Catherine appeared, helped Marcus to his feet. Come on, let's get you to Isaiah. They drove through Memphis in silence. Marcus's hands were shaking, his breath coming too fast. Catherine didn't try to talk, just let him process. The penthouse was lit up, FBI agents everywhere, and there in the living room was Isaiah, scared but safe, jumping up when he saw Marcus. Dad! Marcus caught him, held him so tight he was afraid he might break something. I'm here, son. I'm right here. I was scared. There were loud noises and men with guns, and I know, but it's over now. The bad men are gone. You're safe. Isaiah pulled back, looked at his father's face. Are you crying? Yeah, son, I am. Why? Because I'm happy. Because you're safe. Because we get to keep being a family. Marcus held his son and cried for the first time since Layla died, and this time the tears were relief instead of grief. They stayed in Memphis for 3 days while the FBI processed everything. Marcus gave his statement 17 times to 17 different agents, each one asking the same questions in slightly different ways, looking for inconsistencies that weren't there. Kendra Hall sat in on most of them, taking notes, occasionally redirecting when an agent pushed too hard. On the 3rd day, she came to the hotel room where Marcus and Isaiah were staying, courtesy of Catherine Sterling, who'd insisted on paying for everything. We got him, Kendra said, sitting across from Marcus, while Isaiah played with toy cars on the floor. Reeves lawyered up, but it doesn't matter. The files you gave us are a goldmine. We've already arrested 14 Sentinel operators, frozen their accounts, and started extradition proceedings for another 23 overseas. What about the others? Marcus asked. The ones still out there. Working on it. But Sentinel's finished. Without Reeves, without funding, they're just individual contractors scrambling to cover their tracks. None of them are coming after you. You sure about that? Kendra's expression softened. I can't promise you absolute safety, Marcus. That's not how the world works. But I can promise that we've destroyed the organization that wanted you dead. The rest, they're too busy saving themselves to worry about revenge. Marcus wanted to believe her, wanted to think that testifying, that handing over everything had actually ended it. But 10 years of looking over his shoulder had taught him that threats didn't disappear, they just changed shape. What happens now? He asked. You testify at trial. Reeves plus 47 co-defendants. It'll be the biggest private military contractor prosecution in U.S. history. You'll be the star witness. How long until trial? 18 months, maybe 2 years. Federal cases move slow. And I'm supposed to just wait. Just sit around hoping nobody decides to tie up loose ends. You'll have protection. Witness security program if you want it. New names, new location, the whole package. Marcus looked at Isaiah, who was making engine noises, completely absorbed in his game. The boy had already lost his mother. How do you ask a child to lose his name, his home, his entire identity? I need time to think about it, Marcus said. Take all the time you need. But Marcus, you did the right thing. Whatever happens next, remember that. After Kendra left, Catherine showed up with takeout and a proposition. I've been thinking about your situation, she said, setting containers of Thai food on the table. The FBI's offering witness protection, which is good, safe, but it's also limiting. New name means no credit history, no employment history, always looking over your shoulder. What's the alternative? Work for me. Head of corporate security at Sterling Tech. Legitimate job, excellent pay benefits that include a security detail for you and Isaiah. We put you in a secured building, vetted staff, 24/7 protection. And you get to keep your name, your identity, your life. Marcus shook his head. That makes you a target. Anyone who wants revenge on me could come after you. Marcus, someone already tried to kill me, sabotaged my jet. Remember, I live with threats. The difference is, I have resources to handle them. And more importantly, I trust you. I need someone running security who actually gives a damn about people's safety, not just the bottom line. I'm not qualified for corporate security. I'm a killer, Catherine. I ran Black Ops. Which makes you exactly qualified. You know how these people think, how they operate. You've been on both sides. That's invaluable. She leaned forward. And maybe, just maybe, this is your chance to use those skills for something good. To protect instead of destroy. Isn't that what you've been trying to do the last 10 years? Isaiah looked up from his toys. Are you talking about jobs? Is Dad getting a new job? Catherine smiled at him. Maybe. What do you think? Want to move to California? California has Disneyland, Isaiah said seriously. And the ocean. I've never seen the ocean. See, he's already sold. Catherine looked back at Marcus. Think about it. No pressure. But the offer stands. That night, after Isaiah was asleep, Marcus stood on the hotel balcony, looking at Memphis stretching out below him. His phone rang. Unknown number. His hand went instinctively to his waistband, to the gun that wasn't there anymore, because FBI had it for evidence. He answered anyway. Yeah. Mr. Washington, this is Thomas Chen. I'm an attorney representing Colonel Reeves. Marcus's jaw tightened. I've got nothing to say to you. Please just hear me out. My client would like to propose a deal. Your client's going to prison for 30 years. What kind of deal is there? The kind where you recant your testimony, claim you were coerced by the FBI, and my client ensures that the remaining Sentinel operators leave you and your family alone. Permanently. You're asking me to lie under oath. I'm asking you to consider what happens when you put my client in prison. Do you really think 47 former military contractors are just going to accept that? You'll spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. Your son will grow up with bodyguards. Is that what you want? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Tell your client he can go to hell. I'm testifying and he's going to prison, and if any of his people come after me or my son, I've got enough dirt on Sentinel to bury every single one of them. You think the FBI got everything I kept copies, insurance. So you tell Reeves, tell all of them that I'm done running. They want a war, they'll get one. But this time, I'm not the one who's going to lose. He hung up. His hands were shaking. Not from fear, from rage. From 10 years of being afraid of hiding, of pretending to be someone he wasn't. He was done with that. Done with all of it. The next morning, Marcus told Kendra he didn't want witness protection. Told her he was keeping his name staying visible, daring anyone to come after him. She argued for 20 minutes before finally giving up. "You're either the bravest man I've ever met, or the stupidest," she said. "Maybe both." What changed? 3 days ago, you were ready to disappear. Marcus thought about it. I realized I've been living like I was already dead. Hiding in Tennessee, using my real name, but not really living under it. Pretending I could outrun my past by ignoring it. That's not living. That's just dying slowly. And now I'm going to actually live. Whatever that looks like. They left Memphis on a Thursday. Catherine sent a car, an armored SUV with 2 security guards, ex-Secret Service, who drove them back to Tennessee. Isaiah spent the whole trip asking questions about California, about the ocean, about Disneyland. Marcus spent it watching the rearview mirror, old habits dying hard. Their cabin looked exactly the same. Like the last week had been a dream, like he could walk inside and find Layla making breakfast. Find his old life still intact. But Layla was 3 years gone, and his old life had burned down the moment he dove into that lake. "Dad!" Isaiah was standing by the car, backpack slung over one shoulder. "Are we staying here?" Marcus looked at the cabin, at the workshop where he'd built furniture for a decade, at the life he'd constructed so carefully, so quietly, hoping nobody would notice. "No, son, we're not staying." "Where are we going?" "I don't know yet, but somewhere new. Somewhere we can start over for real this time." They packed in silence. Not much to take: clothes, photos, Layla's jewelry that Marcus had saved for Isaiah when he got older. The important stuff fit in 2 suitcases. Everything else was just weight. Marcus called Catherine from the road. "I'm taking the job." "Good. When can you start?" "Give me 2 weeks to get Isaiah settled. New school, new city. He's been through enough." "Take a month. I'll have HR send over the paperwork. And Marcus, thank you for trusting me. You saved my son's life. Trust is the least I can give you." They drove west. Not to California yet, but to Layla's mother's house in Little Rock. Marcus hadn't seen his mother-in-law in 6 months, hadn't told her about Memphis, about Reeves, about any of it. But she was family, and Isaiah needed family right now. She opened the door and saw Marcus's face and knew immediately something had changed. "What happened?" she asked, pulling Isaiah into a hug. "Long story. Can we come in?" They sat in her living room, the same room where Marcus had asked permission to marry Layla 12 years ago, and he told her everything. About Sentinel, about the rescue, about Reeves and the FBI, and the decision he'd made to stop running. She listened without interrupting, hands folded in her lap, face unreadable. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. "Layla knew," she finally said. Marcus looked up. "Knew what?" "About your past. Not the details, but enough. She told me once that you were running from something, that you'd done things you weren't proud of, but that you were trying to be better." She reached over, took Marcus's hand. "And she believed you could be. She believed you were a good man who'd made bad choices, and that those were 2 different things." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "I don't know if I am. A good man. Good men don't know if they're good. That's how you can tell them from the bad ones." She squeezed his hand. You saved a woman's life. You protected your son. You stood up to people who wanted to kill you. That's not a bad man, Marcus. That's a hero. I don't feel like a hero. Heroes never do. They just feel tired. Isaiah came back from the kitchen with cookies, oblivious to the heavy conversation. Grandma, can we stay for a while? Please. As long as you want, baby. This is your home. They stayed for 2 weeks. Marcus helped fix her roof, painted her fence, did all the things he'd been meaning to do for years, but never found time. Isaiah played with neighborhood kids, went to church with his grandmother, laughed in ways Marcus hadn't heard since Layla died. At night, Marcus sat on the porch and returned calls from Kendra about the trial, from Catherine about the job, from reporters who somehow got his number and wanted interviews. He turned them all down. This wasn't a story he wanted to tell publicly. Not yet. On the 13th day, a black sedan pulled up. Not FBI. Not Catherine's security. Just a regular car, with regular plates, and Marcus's hand went to his gun. The new one Catherine had arranged for him, legally registered, concealed carry permit and everything. A woman got out. Mid-50s, gray hair, kind eyes. She walked up to the porch like she owned it. Marcus Washington. Who's asking? My name is Patricia Blackwell. I'm Sentinel's former CFO. Marcus stood up, gun not visible but close. You've got 30 seconds before I call the FBI. I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to thank you. That stopped him. Thank me. For bringing them down. I worked for Sentinel for 15 years. Knew what they were doing, helped facilitate it. I'm not proud of that. But I was too afraid to leave, too afraid to speak up. Then you did both. And now I can finally sleep at night. You could have turned them in yourself. I know. But I didn't have your courage. Nobody did. That's why Reeves got away with it for so long. Everyone was too scared to be the first. She pulled out an envelope. This is information on the last 3 operations Sentinel ran. The ones the FBI doesn't know about yet. Consider it my testimony. My way of making things right. She set the envelope on the porch railing and walked back to her car. Marcus watched her drive away, then opened it. Inside were documents, bank transfers, names. Everything the FBI would need to close the remaining cases. He called Kendra immediately. I've got something you need to see. The trial started in January, 16 months after that night in the warehouse. Marcus had spent those months in California, learning his new job, watching Isaiah adjust to life near the ocean. The boy had started surfing, made friends, stopped having nightmares about men with guns. Marcus testified for 4 days straight. Laid out everything Yemen, Syria, Libya missions that existed in shadows. The defense tried to break him, tried to make him look like a disgruntled employee, a liar, a traitor. But Marcus didn't break. He'd survived worse than hostile attorneys. On the 4th day, Reeves's lawyer stood up for cross-examination. Mr. Washington, isn't it true that you've killed over 40 people in your career? Yes. And you expect this jury to believe you suddenly developed a conscience? Marcus looked at Reeves, sitting at the defense table, face blank. I always had a conscience. I just stopped ignoring it when Colonel Reeves ordered me to kill an unarmed doctor who was trying to help people. That's when I realized I wasn't working for the good guys anymore. Maybe I never was. But you kept the money, didn't you? The money Sentinel paid you. Every penny. Used it to raise my son, to build a life. Blood money spent trying to do some good. That make it clean, no. But it's what I did. So you're a hypocrite. I'm a man who made bad choices and is trying to live with them. Aren't we all? The jury deliberated for 6 days. Marcus didn't sleep, barely ate. Catherine kept him company in the hotel room, playing cards with Isaiah, keeping things normal, even though nothing was normal. When the verdict came back, Marcus was in the courtroom. Isaiah was with Catherine's security team. Marcus didn't want his son seeing this, didn't want him to remember his father in a courtroom surrounded by criminals. On count 1, murder for hire, we find the defendant guilty. Marcus felt something in his chest release. Not relief. Not quite. Just the knowledge that justice sometimes actually worked. They read 47 counts, guilty on 39 of them. Reeves sat motionless, face blank, not looking at Marcus or anyone else. The judge sentenced him to 45 years federal supermax, no parole. At 63 years old, Reeves would die in prison. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Marcus pushed through them, not answering questions, not stopping. Catherine was waiting by the car. "How do you feel?" she asked. "I don't know yet. Ask me in a year." They drove to the beach. Isaiah was there with the security team building sandcastles, playing in the surf. When he saw Marcus, he ran over. "Did they get the bad guy?" "Yeah, son, they got him. So we're safe now." Marcus knelt down, looked his boy in the eyes. "We're safe. But more than that, we're free. Free to live without hiding. Free to be who we really are. You understand?" "I think so." "Does this mean I don't have to change my name?" "You never have to change your name. You're Isaiah Washington, and that's a good name. A strong name. Your mama gave it to you and nobody can take it away." Isaiah hugged him tight. "I miss her." "Me too, son. Every single day." That night, Marcus stood at the window of his new apartment-secured building penthouse floor. Catherine's company paid for everything, and looked out at the Pacific Ocean, stretching forever. His phone rang. "Mr. Washington, this is Margaret Chen from the New York Times. We'd like to interview you about your testimony." "Not interested." "We're prepared to offer—" "I said not interested. Find someone else to make famous." He hung up. His phone rang again immediately. Different reporter, same request. Marcus turned it off. Catherine knocked on his door an hour later with pizza and wine. They ate in comfortable silence, watching Isaiah sleep on the couch, exhausted from playing all day. "You did good," Catherine said quietly. "Today, at the trial, you did really good." "Doesn't feel like it. Feels like I just relived the worst parts of my life in front of strangers." "That's exactly what makes it good. You weren't hiding. You weren't pretending to be someone you're not. You told the truth, consequences be damned. That's courage, Marcus. Or stupidity. Sometimes they're the same thing." She smiled. "Your first official day at work is Monday. You nervous?" "Terrified. I don't know anything about corporate security." "You know how to protect people, how to read threats, how to plan for worst-case scenarios. That's exactly what we need. The rest you'll learn." "What if I'm not good at it?" "Then you'll fail, and then you'll get better. That's how life works." She finished her wine, stood up. "Get some rest. Monday's going to be intense." After she left, Marcus sat alone in the dark thinking about the last 18 months. About the jet crash, the warehouse, the trial. About decisions made in seconds that changed everything. His phone buzzed. He'd turned it back on to set his alarm. New voicemail. He listened, expecting another reporter. Instead, he heard a voice he'd never expected to hear again. "Mr. Washington, this is Dr. Khalid Hassan, from Yemen. You saved my life 11 years ago when you refused to follow your orders. I read about the trial, about your testimony. I wanted to call and say thank you. Not just for my life, but for having the courage to do what was right. You didn't know me. You owed me nothing. But you chose humanity over orders. That is rare. You are a good man, Marcus Washington. Don't let anyone tell you different." The message ended. Marcus played it 3 more times, each time feeling something shift inside him. Maybe he wasn't a good man. Maybe good men didn't exist. But maybe trying to be good was enough. Maybe that's all anyone could do, make the next right choice, and the next, until the bad choices faded far enough behind that you could almost forget them. Almost. He looked at Isaiah sleeping peacefully. His son would grow up knowing his father had done terrible things. But he'd also know his father had tried to make them right, had stood up when it mattered, had chosen truth over safety. That was worth something. Had to be. Marcus went to bed for the first time in 18 months, without checking the locks twice, without keeping his gun loaded, without jumping at every sound. He closed his eyes and saw Layla's face, not dying, not sick, but healthy and whole, smiling at him the way she used to. "I'm trying," he whispered to her memory. "I'm trying so hard to be the man you thought I could be." Sleep came easy, and for once he didn't dream of Yemen or Reeves or the warehouse. He dreamed of the ocean of Isaiah laughing in the surf of Catherine's voice saying, "You did good." Maybe he had. Maybe that was enough. Monday morning came too fast. Marcus stood in front of the mirror at 5 a.m., trying to figure out how to tie a tie. He hadn't worn one since Layla's funeral. His fingers fumbled with the silk muscle memory from 20 years ago refusing to surface. "You're doing it wrong," Isaiah said from the doorway, still in his pajamas. "I know I'm doing it wrong. That's why I'm standing here looking stupid." "Mom used to tie Dad's ties. I watched her do it." The words hung in the air between them. Marcus's hands stopped moving. "You remember that?" he asked quietly. "I remember lots of things about her. I just don't talk about them much because it makes you sad." Marcus turned around, really looked at his son. When had Isaiah gotten so perceptive? When had he learned to read Marcus's grief better than Marcus could? "Come here," Marcus said. Isaiah walked over. Marcus knelt down so they were eye level. "You can talk about your mama anytime you want. Talking about her doesn't make me sad. Not having her here makes me sad. But remembering her, that's good. That keeps her alive for us." Isaiah nodded solemn. "She'd be proud of you. The new job and everything." "You think so?" "I know so. She always said you were good at protecting people. That's what you're doing now, right? Protecting people." "Yeah, son, that's exactly what I'm doing." "Then she'd be proud." Isaiah reached up, started working on the tie with small, careful fingers. "She taught me this when I was 6. Said someday I'd need to know how to do it for myself." Marcus watched his 9-year-old son tie a perfect Windsor knot and felt his chest tighten with love and loss in equal measure. "There," Isaiah said, stepping back. "You look good, Dad, like a real businessman." "I look like I'm pretending to be a businessman." "Same thing." Marcus laughed, surprised he still could. "When'd you get so smart?" "I've always been smart. You just don't notice because you're busy worrying about everything." "That's my job, worrying about everything." "Maybe your new job can be not worrying so much." Isaiah headed back to his room. "I'm going back to sleep. School doesn't start for 2 more hours." Marcus drove to Sterling Tech headquarters in morning traffic, hands tight on the wheel. The building was glass and steel, 32 floors overlooking the bay. His security badge got him through the lobby into an elevator that moved too fast down a hallway where everyone looked young and confident and like they belonged. Catherine's assistant met him on the 20th floor. "Mr. Washington, Ms. Sterling's in a meeting. She asked me to show you to your office." Office. Marcus had never had an office before. Barracks, yes. Shipping containers converted to command posts, yes. But never an office with windows and a desk and a nameplate that said, "Marcus Washington, Chief Security Officer." "This can't be right," Marcus said. "It is. Ms. Sterling had it prepared last week. There's a laptop company phone access to all security systems. It will come by this afternoon to walk you through everything." The assistant left him alone. Marcus stood in the middle of the office, looking at furniture that cost more than his truck at Windows, with a view of the Pacific at a life he didn't recognize as his own. His new phone rang. Catherine. "How's the office?" she asked. "Too big, too nice. I don't deserve this." "Good thing you don't get to decide what you deserve. How's the tie?" Marcus looked down. "Isaiah tied it, said Layla taught him. She sounds like she was a good woman. The best. She would have liked you. I would have liked her too. Listen, I need you in the executive conference room in 10 minutes. We've got a situation." "What kind of situation?" "The kind where someone's threatening to kill me again. Welcome to corporate security. Marcus found the conference room filled with people lawyers, IT specialists, Catherine at the head of the table looking completely calm. Marcus, good. This is David Chen, head of IT. David, explain what you found. David was mid-30s, nervous holding a laptop like it might explode. We got a credible threat this morning. Email sent to Ms. Sterling's personal account, which should be impossible because that account isn't public. The email contained detailed information about her schedule, her home address, her security protocols. Whoever sent it knows things they shouldn't know. What did the email say? Marcus asked. Catherine slid a printed copy across the table. Marcus read it, his training kicking in, automatically analyzing threat level specific language intent. The email was short. You took everything from me. Now I'll take everything from you. Starting with your life. You have 7 days. This is credible, Marcus asked. The information in there is real, David said. Whoever sent it has access to our systems, or had access. I've locked everything down, changed all passwords, but if they got in once, they can get in again, Marcus finished. What about the sender? Routed through multiple proxies. Originated somewhere in Eastern Europe, but that doesn't mean much. Could be anywhere. Marcus looked at Catherine. You said again. Someone's threatened you before. 3 times in the last 2 years. Comes with being a billionaire and a woman in tech. Usually it's trolls, angry investors, people who lost money when I didn't buy their startup. We reported increased security, it goes away. This feels different, Marcus said. I agree. That's why I wanted you here. You think it's connected to Sentinel revenge for testifying? I don't know. But you know how these people think. I need you to tell me if this is real. Marcus read the email again. The language was specific, cold, professional, not emotional like a troll would write. This was calculated. It's real, he said. Whoever sent this has training, military or law enforcement. They're giving you 7 days because they want you scared. Want you making mistakes. This isn't impulse, it's planned. So what do we do? Assume worst case. Increase your security detail, change your routines, avoid predictable patterns, and we find out who sent this before the 7 days are up. Catherine nodded. David, I want every access log for the last 6 months. Every employee, contractor, vendor. Anyone who touched our systems. That's going to be thousands of people. Then we look at thousands of people. Marcus, you're in charge. Whatever you need, you get it. Budget's unlimited. The room cleared out. Catherine stayed behind. You okay? She asked. I've been on the job for 30 minutes and someone's already threatening to kill you. I'm great. Could be worse. They could be threatening to kill you. They probably are. Just haven't gotten around to sending that email yet. Catherine smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I'm not afraid, you know. I've been threatened before. I'll be threatened again. That's the price of success. Fear's not a weakness. It's what keeps you alive. Is that what they taught you in the Marines? That's what I learned staying alive for 47 years. Marcus looked at the email again. This person knows too much. That's what worries me. They know your schedule down to the minute, know where you live, know your security protocols. That's not hacking. That's inside information. You think someone on my staff is involved? I think we can't rule it out. How many people have access to your full schedule? My assistant, my head of security. Well, you now and my CFO. That's it. I need to interview all of them, today. My assistant's been with me for 8 years. I trust her completely. Good. Then she won't mind answering questions. Marcus spent the rest of the day interviewing people who looked at him like he was there to fire them. Catherine's assistant was professional, answered every question without hesitation, provided alibis for the morning the email was sent. The CFO was defensive, kept asking if he needed a lawyer. Marcus made a note to look into him more carefully. By 6 p.m., Marcus had talked to 43 people and gotten nowhere. He sat in his office staring at files, trying to find the pattern. His phone rang. Unknown number. Marcus answered anyway. Mr. Washington. Who is this? Someone who knows you're looking into the threat against Catherine Sterling. I can help. I'm listening. Not over the phone. Meet me tonight. Pier 39, 10 p.m. Come alone. I don't meet strangers in dark places anymore. Then Catherine Sterling dies in 6 days. Your choice. The line went dead. Marcus called Catherine immediately. I got a call. Someone claiming they have information about the threat. Wants to meet tonight. Could be a trap. Probably is. I'm going anyway. Not alone. I'm sending my security team. The caller said come alone. The caller can deal with it. Marcus, you're not expendable. We just hired you. I'd like to keep you alive at least a month before someone tries to kill you. I've been doing this a lot longer than a month. Doing what? Walking into obvious traps. Surviving them. At 9 p.m., Marcus drove to Pier 39 with Catherine's security team following at a distance. The pier was crowded. Tourists, street performers, the smell of ocean and fried food. Marcus walked to the end, where the caller had specified, and waited. 10 p.m. came and went. No one approached. At 10:15, his phone buzzed. Text message from unknown number. Turn around. Marcus turned. A woman was standing 20 feet behind him, mid-40s, wearing a business suit looking like any other professional out for an evening walk. Your ghost, she said. Not a question. Used to be. Who are you? Sarah Mitchell, former Sentinel analyst. I heard about your testimony, about what you did to Reeves. Marcus's hand moved closer to his concealed weapon. You here for revenge? I'm here to help. The threat against Sterling. It's real, and it's coming from inside Sentinel's remnants. 3 operators who got away when you brought down Reeves. They blame Sterling for helping you, for funding your protection. They think if they kill her, they send a message to anyone else who might consider testifying. You know who they are. Names, locations, everything. But I need guarantees first. What kind of guarantees? Immunity. I was part of Sentinel. Low-level just analysis, but I was there. If I testify, I need protection. Call the FBI. Agent Kendra Hall. She'll protect you. The FBI can't protect me from these men. You know that. They're trained the same as you were. But Sterling can. Sterling's got resources, money reach. I help you, you convince her to protect me. Marcus studied her face, looking for deception. How do I know you're telling the truth? Sarah pulled out a phone, showed him photos. 3 men, military-age professional gear. Daniel Cortez, former Delta, Victor Petrov, former Spetsnaz, and James Wheeler, former SAS. They're working together, planning to hit Sterling in 5 days during her speech at the tech conference. Public assassination, maximum impact. Marcus's blood ran cold. She hasn't told me about any speech. It was announced this morning. Security conference, 3,000 attendees, live-streamed worldwide. Perfect target. Why tell me this? Why not just let it happen? Because I'm tired of being afraid, tired of looking over my shoulder. You brought down Sentinel. You proved they're not invincible. I want out. But I need help to stay out. Marcus made a decision. Come with me. We're going to see Catherine Sterling right now. You tell her everything you told me. If she believes you, we'll protect you. If you're lying. I'm not lying. I'm trying to save her life. And mine. They drove to Catherine's building, Sarah in the backseat, security team following. Marcus called ahead. I'm bringing someone to see you. Former Sentinel analyst. Says she's got information on the threat. Can you trust her? I don't know yet, but we're about to find out. Catherine met them in her penthouse, guards at every door. Sarah walked in looking scared, but determined. Tell her what you told me, Marcus said. Sarah did. Laid out everything, the 3 operators, their plan, the timeline. Catherine listened without interrupting, face impossible to read. When Sarah finished, Catherine was quiet for a long moment. If what you're saying is true, These men are planning to kill me in front of 3,000 people. Yes. And you want protection in exchange for this information? Yes. Why should I trust you? You worked for the people trying to kill me. Because I'm risking everything to be here. If Cortez finds out I talked to you, I'm dead. But I'm here anyway because someone needs to stop them. And because Mr. Washington proved that standing up to Sentinel is possible. Catherine looked at Marcus. What do you think? I think we verify everything she said. Run background check her story, confirm those 3 names are real and dangerous. If it checks out, we protect her. If it doesn't, we turn her over to the FBI. Fair enough. Catherine turned to Sarah. You're staying here tonight, under guard. Tomorrow, we verify your information. If you're telling the truth, you've got protection. If you're lying, you've got federal charges. Understood? Understood. Marcus spent the next 12 hours verifying Sarah's information. Called Kendra Hall at the FBI, who confirmed that Daniel Cortez, Victor Petrov, and James Wheeler were all former Sentinel operators who disappeared after Reeves's arrest. All 3 had warrants. All 3 were considered armed and dangerous. We've been looking for them for 18 months, Kendra said. If your source knows where they are, I need that information. She's scared. Needs protection first. I can arrange that. Not good enough. These guys are professionals. FBI safe houses won't stop them. What are you suggesting? Let Sterling protect her. Private security, unlimited resources. These operators want Sterling dead anyway. We use that. Set a trap. You want to use Sterling as bait. I want to end this before someone dies. How many more Sentinel operators are out there, Kendra? How many more threats? We can spend years chasing them, or we can end it now. Kendra was quiet. This isn't protocol. Protocol doesn't work with guys like this, you know that. If something goes wrong, then it goes wrong. But at least we tried. Kendra sighed. Okay. But FBI's involved. We do this together, or we don't do it at all. Marcus hung up, went to find Catherine. She was in her office at 3 a.m. still working. You should be sleeping, Marcus said. So should you. What did the FBI say? They want in. Joint operation. We set up the tech conference as planned, beef up security, and wait for these guys to make their move. You want me to give a speech knowing 3 assassins are planning to kill me during it? Yes. That's insane. That's the job. You hired me to keep you safe. This is how I do it. Catherine leaned back in her chair. You know what's funny? I've spent 20 years building this company. Made billions, changed entire industries, became one of the most powerful women in tech. And the thing I'm most proud of is pulling you out of that lake. Because everything else I've done was about me. But that was about someone else. And now here you are trying to keep me alive. That's the deal. You saved my life by giving me this job. I save yours by doing it. Fair trade. Fair trade. Catherine stood up. Okay, we do it your way. But Marcus, if something goes wrong, if they get through, they won't. But if they do, you make sure Isaiah's taken care of. College fund trust, everything. Promise me. Nothing's going to happen to you. Promise me anyway. Marcus looked at her. This woman who'd crashed into his life, who'd refused to let him hide, who'd given him a second chance at being someone other than Ghost Washington. I promise, he said, but I'm not going to need to keep it. The next 3 days were preparation. FBI tactical teams, Sterling's private security local police, all coordinating, all planning for every possible scenario. Marcus ran the operation from a command center in Sterling Tech's basement, 12 monitors showing every angle of the conference center. Sarah Mitchell sat in a corner, guarded, watching everything. You think they'll really come? She asked Marcus on day 2. If they're smart, they'll call it off. Too much security, too much risk. But they're not smart. They're angry. Angry men make stupid decisions. That's what I'm counting on. Isaiah came by after school each day, did homework in Marcus's office while his father worked. On day 3, the boy looked up from his math. "Dad, are you scared?" Marcus stopped typing. "Yeah, son, I'm scared. Of the bad guys. Of failing. Of something happening to Catherine. Of not being good enough at this new job. But you're Ghost. You're the best. Ghost was good at killing people. I'm trying to be good at protecting them. That's different." "Is it harder?" Marcus thought about it. "Yeah, it's a lot harder." "Good," Isaiah said, going back to his homework. Hard stuff matters more. The conference was scheduled for Friday morning. 3,000 attendees keynote address from Catherine Sterling at 10 a.m. Marcus arrived at 6, checked every entrance, every exit, every possible firing position. FBI snipers were on rooftops, plainclothes agents in the crowd, tactical teams ready to respond in seconds. Catherine arrived at 9, walked in like she wasn't walking into a potential ambush. "How do I look?" she asked Marcus. "Like a target." "Perfect." At 9:45, Sarah Mitchell's phone buzzed. She looked at it, went pale, showed it to Marcus. Text message from unknown number. "We know you talked. You're dead after Sterling." "They're here," Marcus said into his radio. "All unit suspects are in the building. Repeat, suspects are in the building." The conference center erupted into controlled chaos. FBI agents moving through crowds, security locking down exits, everyone looking for 3 faces they'd studied for 72 hours straight. Catherine walked onto stage at exactly 10 a.m. Marcus watched from backstage, hand on his weapon, every nerve firing. The crowd applauded. Catherine smiled, started her speech. 2 minutes in, Marcus saw him. Daniel Cortez moving through the crowd toward the stage. No weapon visible, but Marcus knew how these guys operated. The weapon was there. "Target 1 spotted east side," Marcus said into his radio. "Moving to intercept." He pushed through the crowd trying to reach Cortez before Cortez reached the stage. The man saw him coming, eyes going wide with recognition. He ran. Marcus followed, crashed through a service door into a backstage corridor. Cortez was ahead, pulling a pistol from his waistband. Marcus dove as the first shot went wide, pulled his own weapon, returned fire. The corridor exploded with sound. Cortez kept running, disappeared around a corner. Marcus followed, training taking over, everything else falling away. He found Cortez in a storage room, cornered, gun raised. "It's over," Marcus said. "FBI's got the building surrounded. Put the gun down." "You destroyed everything," Cortez said. "Reeves is in prison. Sentinel's finished. Good men are broke, hunted, hiding. Because of you. Good men don't murder civilians. Good men follow orders. Bad orders don't deserve to be followed." Cortez's finger moved to the trigger. Marcus fired first. Center mass, 2 shots, textbook perfect. Cortez went down. Marcus's radio crackled. "We got target 2. Wheeler's in custody, but Petrov's missing. Repeat, Petrov is in the wind." Marcus ran back toward the stage. Catherine was still speaking, unaware of what had happened backstage. Marcus scanned the crowd looking for Petrov's face. He saw him. 3rd row, standing up, hand moving inside his jacket. Marcus didn't think. He vaulted onto the stage, grabbed Catherine, pulled her down as the first shot went over their heads. The crowd screamed. FBI agents swarmed. Petrov took him down in seconds. Marcus lay on top of Catherine, breathing hard, waiting for more shots that didn't come. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I think you cracked my ribs." "Better than your skull." Catherine laughed, slightly hysterical. "You just saved my life again." "That's twice now. You're getting expensive to keep alive." FBI agents pulled them off stage. Petrov was in handcuffs, bleeding from a split lip, shouting threats in Russian. Catherine was rushed to a secure room, Marcus following. Kendra Hall found them 20 minutes later. "It's over. We got all 3. Cortez is dead. Wheeler and Petrov are in custody. and we found evidence linking them to 4 other former Sentinel operators. This ends it, Marcus. Really ends it. Marcus sat down hard, adrenaline finally draining out. His hands were shaking. Catherine noticed, reached over, held them still. "You did good," she said quietly. "Really good. I killed a man today. A man who was trying to kill me. Still counts. Does it get easier, the killing? No. It gets harder. Every single time." They sat in silence for a long moment. Outside, police were processing the scene, FBI was taking statements, the world was returning to normal. But Marcus knew normal was relative. This was his normal, now saving lives, taking them, trying to balance the scales. His phone rang. Isaiah's school. "Mr. Washington, Isaiah's ready for pickup. I'll be there in 30 minutes. He stood up. Catherine looked at him. "You're really going to pick up your son like nothing happened?" "Something did happen. I did my job. Now I'm going to do my other job, being a father." "Marcus." He turned back. "Thank you," Catherine said, "for everything. We're even now. 2 lives saved apiece." "I don't think it works like that." "Neither do I. But it's nice to pretend." Marcus left, drove through afternoon traffic to Isaiah's school. His son came running out, backpack bouncing, face lit up. "How was school?" Marcus asked. "Good. We learned about fractions. They're hard, but I'm getting better. How was your day?" Marcus thought about lying. Decided on truth. "I stopped some bad guys from hurting people, and I kept my promise to keep Catherine safe." "So it was a good day." "Yeah, son. It was a really good day." They drove home together, and Marcus realized something had shifted. He wasn't Ghost anymore. Wasn't just Marcus the carpenter either. He was something new, someone who protected instead of destroyed, who saved instead of killed. It wasn't redemption. That was too clean a word for the mess of his life. But it was progress. And for now, that was enough. 6 months passed before Marcus stopped checking his rearview mirror every 30 seconds. Old habits died hard, but they did eventually die. Or at least went into hibernation, waiting for the next crisis that never came. Isaiah turned 10 in March. They celebrated at the beach with Catherine and her entire security team, which had become something like family. The boy blew out candles on a cake shaped like a surfboard and made a wish Marcus didn't ask about. Later, when everyone had gone home, Isaiah sat with Marcus on the porch of their new house, real house, not apartment with a yard and a garage and everything Layla had wanted but never got to see. "I wished that Mom could see us now," Isaiah said quietly. "That she could know we're okay." Marcus's throat tightened. "She knows, son." "How can you be sure?" "Because if heaven's real and your mom is there, there's no way she's not watching over us. Probably yelling at me for letting you eat 3 pieces of cake." Isaiah smiled. "She'd be proud of you. The job, the house, everything." "You think?" "I know. She always said you were meant for more than hiding, that you just needed to figure out what more looked like." Marcus pulled his son close. "When'd you get so wise?" "I've always been wise. You're just now noticing." Work became routine in the way that protecting a billionaire CEO could be routine. Marcus built out Sterling Tech's security from the ground up, vetted every employee, redesigned protocols, installed systems that would have made his Marine commanders jealous. Catherine gave him unlimited budget and complete authority, which meant when he said someone couldn't be trusted, they were gone. He fired 8 people in the first 3 months. 3 were selling company secrets. 2 were corporate spies. 1 was embezzling. And 2 just gave him bad feelings he couldn't justify with evidence. Catherine never questioned him. "Your instincts kept you alive for 20 years in the worst places on earth," she said when he apologized for firing someone without proof. "I trust them more than I trust any background check." By summer, Sterling Tech was the most secure company in Silicon Valley. Nobody got in without clearance. Nobody got out without logs. And nobody threatened Catherine Sterling without Marcus Washington knowing about it within minutes. The work was good. Hard, but good. Marcus went home tired but satisfied, feeling like he was building something instead of tearing things down. Isaiah noticed the change. "You smile more now," the boy said one evening while they were fishing off a pier near their house. "Like you're not waiting for something bad to happen." "Maybe I'm not," Marcus said. "Maybe I'm finally learning to live in the present instead of the past." "That's very zen of you, Dad." "Did you just say zen?" "We learned about Buddhism in school. Mrs. Patterson says living in the moment is the key to happiness." "Mrs. Patterson sounds smart." "She is. She also said I should invite you to Career Day. Talk about what you do." Marcus laughed. "Son, I can't exactly tell your fourth-grade class about half the things I've done." "So tell them about the good things, about saving Catherine, about stopping bad guys at the conference, about protecting people." "You want me to do Career Day?" "Yeah, all the other kids' parents are lawyers and doctors and tech people. Nobody's got a dad who's a real hero." "I'm not a hero, Isaiah." "You are to me." Marcus looked at his son at those eyes so much like Layla's and felt something crack open in his chest. "Okay, I'll do Career Day." "Really?" "Really. But you have to help me figure out what to say. Because I'm pretty sure I used to kill people for money, but now I stop other people from killing my boss isn't appropriate for fourth graders." Isaiah grinned. "We'll workshop it." Career Day came on a Thursday in June. Marcus wore the same suit he'd worn to Reeves's trial, stood in front of 23 10-year-olds who looked at him with a mixture of curiosity and fear, and tried to figure out how to explain his life in terms that wouldn't give them nightmares. "My name is Marcus Washington," he started. "I'm the head of security for a tech company, which means my job is to keep people safe. Before this, I was in the Marines, and before that, I did some work I'm not very proud of. But the thing about life is, you don't always get to choose where you start. You only get to choose where you go next." A girl in the front row raised her hand. "Did you really save a billionaire from a plane crash?" "I did. She's my boss now, which is pretty funny when you think about it. Were you scared?" Marcus thought about lying about being the brave action hero these kids probably expected. Decided on truth instead. "I was terrified. The water was freezing, I couldn't see anything, and I had no idea if I could actually get her out. But I did it anyway because someone needed help, and I was the only one there who could give it." "That's what makes you a hero," the girl said with absolute certainty. "Or really bad at risk assessment," Marcus said, and the kids laughed. He talked for 30 minutes about what security work actually involved, mostly boring stuff, like checking badges and monitoring cameras and making sure doors locked properly. He talked about the Marines, about teamwork and discipline and learning to trust the people beside you. And he talked about second chances, about how you could make mistakes and still find a way forward. Isaiah sat in the back, beaming with pride. And Marcus realized this was the first time his son had seen him as something other than Dad. This was Marcus Washington, the professional, the protector, the man who'd rebuilt his life from ashes. After class, Mrs. Patterson pulled him aside. "That was wonderful. The kids loved it. And Marcus, Isaiah talks about you all the time. About how brave you are, how hard you work, how you always keep your promises. You're doing a good job with him. His mother would be proud." Marcus's eyes stung. "Thank you. That means more than you know. He's a special kid. Takes after his father." That weekend, Catherine invited them to her estate in Napa for what she called a team-building exercise, but was really just an excuse to get everyone out of the city. Her security team was there along with Sarah Mitchell, who'd become Catherine's newest analyst after proving her loyalty a dozen times over. They spent the day doing ridiculous trust exercises, falling backward into each other's arms, navigating obstacle courses blindfolded, the kind of corporate nonsense Marcus had spent his entire military career mocking. But Isaiah loved it, and watching his son laugh with these people who'd become their extended family made Marcus forget how stupid he felt holding hands in a circle while someone talked about synergy. That night, after Isaiah was asleep in one of the guest rooms, Marcus and Catherine sat on her terrace, drinking expensive wine and watching stars he never saw in the city. "I've been thinking," Catherine said, "about expanding, opening offices in New York, London, Tokyo, building sterling tech into something bigger than Silicon Valley." Sounds ambitious. It is. But I'm going to need someone to oversee security across all locations. Someone I trust completely. Someone who knows how to protect people in any situation, any country, any threat level. Marcus looked at her. "You're offering me a promotion. I'm offering you a partnership. Chief Global Security Officer Equity in the company seat on the board. You'd be traveling constantly, managing teams across 6 continents, making decisions that affect thousands of people. That's a lot of responsibility. You saved my life twice, stopped an assassination attempt, and rebuilt our security from scratch in 6 months. I think you can handle it." Marcus thought about it. About travel, about being away from Isaiah, about the weight of protecting not just Catherine, but an entire global company. "I need to talk to Isaiah first," he said. "Make sure he's okay with me being gone more." "Of course. But Marcus, you've spent 10 years making yourself small, hiding your skills, pretending you're less than you are. This is your chance to be big again. To use everything you learned, everything you survived to actually build something that matters. Don't say no out of fear. Say no because it's wrong for you. But if it's right, don't let the past stop you from the future." He told Isaiah the next morning over breakfast. Expected protest, maybe tears. Got neither. "You should do it," Isaiah said immediately. "Just like that, you're okay with me traveling all the time. Dad, you're good at this job, like really good. And you're happy. I've never seen you this happy. If taking the new job makes you even happier, then yeah, you should do it. But I'll miss things. School events, soccer games, just regular time together. We'll figure it out. We always do." Isaiah looked at him seriously. "Besides, Mom always said you were meant for big things. This sounds like a big thing." Marcus felt his chest tighten. "You really think I should? I think you'd regret it if you didn't, and I think Mom would be mad if you said no because of me. Your mama would definitely be mad about that. Then don't make her mad. Say yes." Marcus called Catherine that afternoon. "I'm in, but I need guarantees. Isaiah's education taken care of, trust fund set up security for him if something happens to me. Everything protected." "Already done. My lawyers drew up the paperwork yesterday. I know you, Marcus. I knew you'd say yes." "That confident in me. That confident in you recognizing a good thing when you see it." The promotion became official in August. Marcus spent 3 weeks in New York, setting up the office there, hiring a local team implementing the same protocols that worked in California. He called Isaiah every night video chat, making sure his son was okay with Aunt Keisha, who'd moved out to California to help. "How's the Big Apple?" Isaiah asked one night. "Loud, crowded, nothing like Tennessee." "Do you miss it, Tennessee?" Marcus thought about the cabin, the lake, the decade he'd spent hiding. "No. I miss who we were trying to be there, but I don't miss being afraid all the time." "You're not afraid anymore." "I'm terrified every single day, but it's different now. I'm scared of failing, of letting people down, of not being good enough at this job. That's healthy fear. Back in Tennessee, I was scared of existing. That's the kind of fear that kills you slowly." "That's very philosophical, Dad." "I've been reading your mom's old journals. She was big on philosophy. What do they say? That she loved us more than anything. That she believed I could be better than I was. That she had faith even when I didn't." Isaiah was quiet for a moment. "I miss her." "Me too, son. Every single day. But we're doing okay right without her. We're doing better than okay. We're doing good. And she'd be proud of that." London was next, then Tokyo, then Singapore. Marcus spent 6 months traveling building teams creating security infrastructure for a company that was growing faster than anyone predicted. Catherine's vision was working. Sterling Tech was becoming a global powerhouse, and Marcus was the one making sure it stayed safe. He came home for Christmas. Isaiah was different, taller, more confident, starting to look less like a boy and more like the young man he'd become. They spent the holiday at Catherine's estate, with everyone who'd become family over the last year. Sarah Mitchell brought her new girlfriend a lawyer who'd helped negotiate her immunity deal. Catherine's security team brought their families. Even Kendra Hall showed up off duty just to say hello and see how everyone was doing. "This is nice," Kendra said, watching Isaiah play football with the security team's kids. "You've built something good here, Marcus. Real community." "Catherine built it. I just help keep it safe." "You're too modest. You know that." "I'm really not. I've got a pretty accurate sense of my own limitations." "And yet you keep exceeding them." Kendra handed him a file. "Reeves's final appeal was denied. He's never getting out. Thought you'd want to know." Marcus took the file, didn't open it. "How do you feel about that? Like justice was served. How do you feel? Like it doesn't change anything. He's in prison, but the damage he did is still out there. People still dead, families still destroyed. Locking him up doesn't fix that." "No, but it stops him from doing more damage. That's something." "Yeah, it's something." Isaiah ran over out of breath, face flushed with exercise and joy. "Dad, come play. We need another person for teams." Marcus looked at Kendra. "Duty calls." "Go. Be a dad. You're good at that too." He played football until his knees hurt and his lungs burned, and for those 2 hours, he wasn't Chief Global Security Officer or former ghost or any of the things that defined his past. He was just dad playing with his son, surrounded by people who cared about them. That night, after everyone had gone home or to bed, Marcus stood in Catherine's kitchen, helping her clean up. They'd fallen into this routine over the months, comfortable silence, shared work, the kind of easy companionship that didn't need constant conversation. "I've been thinking about something," Catherine said, washing a wine glass with more care than it probably needed. "What's that? About us, you and me, what this is." Marcus stopped drying the plate in his hands. "What do you mean?" "I mean we spend most of our time together. You run my security, yes, but we also have dinner twice a week. We text each other random thoughts. You know my coffee order, and I know Isaiah's favorite snack. That's not just employee and boss." "No, it's not." "So what is it?" Marcus thought about it carefully. About Layla, about grief, about the 1.5 years since Catherine crashed into his life. "It's friendship. Real actual friendship. The kind I haven't had since the Marines. Just friendship." "I don't know what else it could be. I'm not ready for anything else. Might never be ready." Catherine nodded, didn't look disappointed. "I can work with friendship. I'm good at friendship." Yeah, friends. They shook hands, both laughing at the formality of it, and Marcus realized this was what peace felt like. Not the absence of conflict, but the presence of people who understood you, who didn't need you to be perfect, who accepted that you were a work in progress and loved you anyway. Spring came with cherry blossoms and new contracts, and Catherine's announcement that Sterling Tech was going public. The IPO would make her one of the richest women in the world and make Marcus, with his equity stake, wealthier than he'd ever imagined. "What are you going to do with the money?" Isaiah asked when Marcus tried to explain what going public meant. "Set up your college fund. Buy a house outright, no mortgage. Save the rest for emergencies." "That's boring, Dad." "I'm a boring guy." "No, you're not. You're the least boring person I know. You should do something cool, like buy a boat or go to space." "I'm not buying a boat, and I'm definitely not going to space." "Fine. But at least buy something fun. You work hard. You should enjoy it." Marcus thought about that. About working hard, about earning things, about the difference between Ghost Washington, who took money for killing, and Marcus Washington, who earned it protecting people. He bought a motorcycle. Nothing fancy, just a good solid bike for weekend rides. Isaiah thought it was the coolest thing ever. "Can I ride on the back?" the boy asked. "When you're older, and your grandmother isn't around to kill me for letting you." They took drives up the coast on Sundays, Marcus and Isaiah, just the two of them. No security detail, no work calls, just father and son, and the road stretching ahead. Sometimes Marcus thought about Layla, about how she'd love seeing their son happy, seeing Marcus finally at peace. On one of those rides pulled over at a lookout above the ocean, Isaiah said something that made Marcus's chest tight. "I'm glad you saved Catherine." "Me too, son. Not just because of the job and the money and everything, but because you needed her. You needed someone to remind you that you're good at things other than being scared." "I wasn't scared. I was careful." "Dad, you were scared. I'm 10, not stupid. But it's okay. Being scared makes sense after everything you went through. Catherine helped you stop being scared. That's important." Marcus pulled his son into a hug. "When'd you get so smart? I told you, I've always been smart. You just keep forgetting." The IPO happened in June. Sterling Tech's stock opened at $82 a share, closed at $106. Catherine became a household name. Forbes put her on the cover. Every news channel wanted interviews. Marcus kept her safe through all of it. Managed crowds vetted journalists, made sure nobody with bad intentions got within 50 feet of her. It was exhausting intense, and exactly what he was good at. The night after the IPO, Catherine threw a party for everyone who'd helped build the company. Hundreds of people flowing champagne speeches about vision and teamwork and changing the world. Marcus stood in the corner with Isaiah, both of them uncomfortable in formal wear, watching the celebration. "You did this," Isaiah said. "You helped make this happen." "Catherine did this. I just kept her alive long enough to do it." "That's not nothing, Dad." "No, it's not nothing." Catherine found them, eventually pulled Marcus onto the stage for a speech he hadn't prepared and didn't want to give. But she'd saved his life in her own way, so he owed her. "I'm not good at public speaking," Marcus started, and the crowd laughed. "I'm much better at standing in corners looking intimidating. But Catherine asked me to say something, so here goes. A year and a half ago I was hiding in Tennessee, pretending I was someone I wasn't. Then Catherine Sterling's jet crashed into a lake, and I made a choice. I could let her die and stay hidden, or I could save her and risk everything." He looked at Catherine standing at the side of the stage, smiling. "I saved her, and she saved me back. Not just with this job, though this job is pretty great, but by showing me that it's possible to use the things you're ashamed of to build something good, to take skills learned in dark places and use them in the light, to stop running from who you were and start becoming who you want to be." He raised his glass. "To Catherine Sterling, for crashing into my life and refusing to let me waste it." The crowd applauded. Catherine came over, hugged him hard. "Thank you," she whispered, "for everything. Thank you for not dying in that lake. Best decision I ever made." Summer passed into fall. Isaiah started 5th grade, made new friends, joined the school robotics team. Marcus settled into the rhythm of his job, traveling less as his teams became more independent, spending more time at home. On a Saturday in October, almost 2 years after the crash, Marcus took Isaiah back to Reelfoot Lake. They'd avoided Tennessee since leaving, but something in Marcus needed to see it again. Needed to face the place where everything changed. The lake looked the same. Cold water, distant mountains, quiet, that felt like peace instead of hiding. They rented the same fishing boat, went to the same spot. "This is where it happened?" Isaiah asked. "Yeah, the jet came down right over there. I was sitting where you are now, trying to teach you to tie a fishing knot." "Do you wish it hadn't happened, the crash, I mean?" Marcus thought about it. About the warehouse, the trial, the fear and violence and uncertainty. About Catherine, the job, the life they'd built. About becoming someone his son could be proud of. No, he said honestly. I don't wish it hadn't happened. Because everything good in our life now came from that moment. We paid a price for it. But what we got was worth it. Even the scary parts. Especially the scary parts. The scary parts made us stronger. They fished until sunset, catching and releasing, not talking much, just being together. On the drive home, Isaiah fell asleep in the passenger seat, and Marcus drove through the dark, thinking about journeys and destinations, and the difference between running from something and running toward something. His phone rang. Catherine. Where are you? She asked. Driving back from Tennessee. Had to see the lake again. How was it? Peaceful. Good. Like closing a chapter. Speaking of chapters, I've got a new one opening. Amsterdam office is ready to launch. Need someone to oversee the setup. 3 months, maybe 4. You interested? Marcus looked at Isaiah sleeping at his son, who'd grown so much, who'd learned to be brave because Marcus had finally learned to stop being afraid. Yeah, Marcus said. I'm interested. But Isaiah comes with me. He's never been to Europe. Time he sees more of the world. Bring him. We'll set up tutoring, make sure he doesn't fall behind in school. It'll be an adventure. Adventures are what got me into this mess in the first place. No. Adventures are what got you out of it. They flew to Amsterdam in November. Isaiah loved the canals, the bicycles, the stroopwafels. Marcus set up the new office, hired a Dutch security team, implemented protocols that were becoming standard across every Sterling Tech location worldwide. At night, he and Isaiah would walk along the canals, talking about everything and nothing. About Layla, about the future, about what it meant to be brave, to be good, to be enough. Dad? Isaiah asked one evening as they watched boats drift past. Do you think we'll ever stop moving? Like really settle down somewhere permanent? I don't know, son. Does it bother you all the traveling? No, I like it. I like seeing new places. But sometimes I wonder what it would be like to have roots, real ones, not just wherever we happen to be. Where would you want those roots? Isaiah thought about it. Somewhere near water, near Catherine, near people who feel like family. Doesn't matter what city, just somewhere that feels like home. Marcus realized his son had just described exactly what they'd built. Not a place, but a community. Not a house, but a family of choice. They had roots. They just weren't tied to geography anymore. We've got that already, Marcus said. It's just scattered across 6 continents. Yeah, I guess we do. Christmas found them back in California. The whole extended family gathered at Catherine's estate again. Bigger this time. More people. More laughter. Sarah brought her girlfriend and their new puppy. Kendra brought her husband and twin daughters. The security team brought everyone. Marcus watched Isaiah play with the younger kids. Watched his son be gentle and patient and kind, and felt something settle in his chest. This was what he'd been fighting for. Not just survival, not just safety, but this joy community, the kind of life worth protecting. Catherine found him in the kitchen again, same routine as last year. You look happy, she said. I am happy. Weird, right? Not weird, deserved. She handed him a glass of wine. I've been thinking about next steps. For the company, for us, for everything. What kind of next steps? The kind where I stop working 80-hour weeks and start actually living. Where I travel for pleasure instead of business. Where I take time to figure out what life looks like when you're not constantly building. You're retiring. God no, I'm 37, but I'm delegating, trusting the people I've hired to do their jobs, which includes you. I want you to take over day-to-day operations for global security. I'll consult, make big decisions, but the daily stuff, that's yours. Catherine. You're ready. You've been ready. And I trust you completely. More than that, I trust you to tell me when you're not sure about something. That's rare, Marcus. Most people just pretend they know everything. You're honest about your limitations. That makes you more qualified, not less. Marcus thought about it. About responsibility, about trust, about becoming the kind of man who deserved both. "Okay," he said, "I'll do it. But I need one condition." "Name it." "Isaiah comes first. Always. If there's ever a choice between the job and my son, he wins. Every time." "That's not a condition. That's why I trust you. Anyone who puts their kid first is someone who understands what actually matters." They toasted. Not to business, not to success, but to family, the kind you choose, the kind you build, the kind that survives plane crashes and assassination attempts and the weight of the past. New Year's Eve arrived cold and clear. Marcus and Isaiah stood on the beach with Catherine and everyone who mattered watching fireworks explode over the Pacific. The boy leaned against his father, tired but happy, and Marcus felt Layla's presence so strongly it was like she was standing right there with them. "You did good," he imagined her saying. "You did so good, baby. I'm proud of you. I miss you," he whispered to the wind, to the waves, to wherever she was. Isaiah looked up. "You talking to Mom?" "Yeah." "What'd she say?" "That she's proud. Of both of us." "Good. She should be." Isaiah squeezed his hand. "Dad, I'm glad we didn't drown in Tennessee." Marcus laughed, surprised and grateful. "Me too, son. Me too." The fireworks kept exploding, painting the sky in colors that looked like hope. Marcus Washington. Former ghost. Former killer. Former man in hiding, stood with his son and watched the world celebrate new beginnings. And for the first time in his life, he believed he deserved to celebrate too. He'd saved a life. She'd saved his back. And together they'd built something that mattered. That was enough. More than enough. It was everything.